Officer Spence Makes No Sense, Chapter 11, Skippy and Jiff Save the Day. Officer Spence was about to name the peanut butter and jelly bandit when we heard this loud, grinding noise. It sounded like it was coming from under the stage. And then there was a banging noise. Bang, bang, bang. And then, right next to Officer Spence, this thing popped up from under the stage. It was tan-colored, and it looked like a balloon or a beach ball or something. "No, I think it's a giant sea serpent," yelled Ryan. "It looks like an enormous light bulb," shouted Michael. "Run for your lives!" screamed Neil the nude kid. But then we all realized that the thing was coming up through the floor. It wasn't a balloon or a beach ball, or a giant sea serpent, or an enormous light bulb. You'll never believe in 1,100,000 years what it was. It was Mr. Klutz's shiny bald head. Our principal! Mr. Klutz climbed out from under the stage. He was wearing a prison uniform. "Hooray for Mr. Klutz!" all the teachers shouted. Coming up right behind Mr. Klutz was our vice principal, Mrs. Jaffe. She was wearing a prison uniform, too, and she had 2 dogs with her. "We thought you were in jail," shouted Michael. "We were in jail, you betcha," Miss Jaffe said. "We tunneled out using our yogurt spoons." "I'm starved," said Mr. Klutz. "Does anybody have any yogurt?" Officer Spence looked really mad. He wheeled around and pointed his finger at Mr. Klutz and Miss Jaffe like it was a gun. "Freeze, dirtbags," he yelled. "You're under arrest. Again. In fact, you're all under arrest." "All of us?" asked Andrea. "That's right," Officer Spence said. "Kids, too. The whole school. Everybody's under arrest. You're all going to jail. Hands up." 400 kids put our hands up in the air. Miss Jaffe's dogs started nosing around the stage like they were trying to smell something. "What cute dogs," Andrea said. "Who never misses the chance to brown-nose a grown-up? What are their names?" "Skippy and Jiff," said Miss Jaffe. "They're peanut butter-sniffing dogs." "Peanut butter-sniffing dogs? I've heard of dogs that sniff out bombs. I've heard of dogs that sniff out drugs, but I've never heard of dogs that sniff out peanut butter. Maybe Mrs. Jaffe was yanking our chain." "Where did you get peanut butter-sniffing dogs?" asked Emily. "From Rent a Peanut Butter-Sniffing Dog," said Mr. Klutz. "You can rent anything." "Roof!" barked Skippy. "Get those dogs out of here," shouted Officer Spence. "You can't have dogs in the school." The dogs were sniffing all around Officer Spence. "Roof!" barked Jiff. "Your dogs are under arrest," Officer Spence yelled. "Put your paws up. You have the right to remain silent." But Officer Spence didn't have the chance to finish his sentence because suddenly Skippy pulled something out of Officer Spence's pocket. It was a sandwich. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Everybody gasped. "Oh, snap," said Ryan. "How did that get in my pocket?" asked Officer Spence. "Who put it there?" "I'll tell you who put it there," Mr. Klutz said. "You put it there because you, Officer Spence, are the real peanut butter and jelly bandit." Everybody gasped again. "I didn't see that coming," Ryan said to me. "You said it yourself," Mr. Klutz told Officer Spence. "The criminal is always the one you least expect." The teachers started rattling their cages and shouting. Now that everybody knew Officer Spence was the peanut butter and jelly bandit, we all started booing him. "Boo! Throw the book at him," yelled Michael. "Put him in the pen," yelled Ryan. "Give him the chair," yelled Neil the nude kid. But Mr. Klutz held up his hand and made the peace sign. When a grown-up makes a peace sign at our school, it means we have to shut up. Nobody knows why. "Why'd you do it, Officer Spence?" Mr. Klutz asked. "Why did you turn to a life of crime?" Officer Spence didn't have the chance to finish his sentence because you'll never believe in 1,100,000 years who came in the all-purpose room at that moment. It was Dr. Brad, the school counselor.